Yo, what up gamers? Welcome back to free-to-play Ultimate Iron Man content. It's been a bit. It's almost the end of 2024. It's been, I think, exactly a year since I made my last annual recap video on this account. So let's take a look through what I've done in the past year on the account, progress I've made, and I got my recap thing with my hours played and all that kind of stuff. So should be fun. I also have some just general clips from the game that I haven't put into any progress vids, so I may as well just throw them in here. So since I'm sure you're all curious, here it is. I haven't posted this anywhere yet, but this is my little recap year in OSRS thing from 2024. Something I was able to determine from this one, since it says your XP gained, is that it's actually year to date from when they send it to you, so it's not a full 365 days. So that means that these hours played are actually not a full year also. So since this is approximately 351 days, the actual estimated hours played this year would be 4,945. So almost 5,000 hours, which means averaging 90 hours-ish a week probably. Seems kind of crazy at face value, but it is mostly AFKing, just like last year. And since I don't think I did this last year, now I will show my actual hours played so that next year we can see a truly accurate number of my hours played in a year. 680 days, so that's, I don't know, like 15 or 16k hours, I think. Alright, so a couple quick screenshots that I took. Early in the year, this was 50 mil hit points, that was in February, and then 100 mil strength XP, which was in March, I think it was. And so starting with a few clips of things that I recorded this year. This is from June, and this is me making a power amulet. This was a point where I decided to start doing some crafting training, so I was planning to skill hop to AFK range fleshies whenever I can't be focused on the game, so I made a power ammy to use for ranging. And then about a month later, I decided I wanted to start doing some U's here and there when possible, because those are a lot better EHP per hour for AFKing than crawlers are, just you have to click a bit more. So I went to the Wildy again and made myself a rune axe, which is something that I'm quite familiar with doing at this point. Probably takes like 10-15 minutes to do a wildy trip and make the bars and stuff. And I did end up doing a bit of fire making and managed to reach 150 mil fire making XP, which is a nice milestone. 3/4 of the way done with the skill, and I've been sitting at like 148 or 149 for quite a long time, so it's nice to finally get back to a bit of this. And I also passed 140 mil woodcutting. And here is me hitting 50 mil attack XP. So at some point this year, I actually decided to start doing attack at flesh crawlers instead of strength. And that is because strength is a kind of a powerful combat style actually, because it gives you an invisible +3 strength bonus. So it's actually better to save that for things where you're potting strength, or things like Catablopons where it drains your strength, because your XP rates will actually be different since your max hits will often be higher. So since I'm not potting or anything at crawlers most of the time, I just do attack there now instead of strength. And I did indeed do a decent bit of crafting this year. I think I started the year with level 85, and this clip is me hitting level 90, which is a nice milestone. So I only have one skill under level 90, and it'll probably stay there for a while. The way I've been doing crafting is not the most efficient way to do it. I get a little bit under EHP. But the way I do it is a lot lower APM and a lot simpler, which is good because I'm still not 100% on my wrists. So I just do single hopping, I don't bother with double hopping, and I also don't bother with leather. And I am wearing a full set of armor because I am still doing a lot of flesh crawlers or Catablopons in AFK time. So the armor set actually doesn't really matter that much because I can still be running all of the time if I use my minigame teleports, and it can last like 20 to 30 minutes off of one full run energy, so having to do that teleport once every 30 minutes instead of once every hour or something is barely any difference actually. So crafting is actually a lot more amenable to skill hopping than I originally thought it would be. I'm also down a few inventory slots because I have the skull scepter and the bone fragments and the noted essence also, so my inventory is a bit troll, but even so I get pretty comfortably like 17k XP an hour, which really isn't bad because the EHP rate is 19.5k. So I'm getting like 0.85 or 0.9-ish, which is pretty good for how low effort this is. because the one-to-one method, while you're mining, is a fair amount of effort, but either way, still you have to AFK at the furnace for a pretty long time. Crafting is not really my favorite skill, but it's just probably what makes the most sense right now because it's a little bit more APM, but still pretty chill to do. I can get better EHP weeks without having to put too much strain on my wrist. And I have a bunch of law runes that need to get used up somehow, so doing crafting is probably the best option for me right now because it gets me a lot more XP per law rune than doing smithing, and also I don't really want to go into the deep wildy with my large stack of bone fragments right now. So you do get a bit of smithing XP from crafting also, so here's me hitting level 97 smithing, which is actually a pretty nice level because it means that I can make a rune kite shield without needing to use Dwarven Stout, so whenever I need to make a rune kite shield again, then I won't have to bother teleporting to Falador and grabbing the Dwarven Stouts. And that's probably the last like useful smithing level. I guess at 98 you can boost and make rune plates and rune legs and stuff, but it's probably more efficient to just buy those from the shops. So you might also notice here that I am wearing rune plate and a rune scimitar. So I decided to actually stop range fleshies and go back to melee because I realized that ranging with bronze arrows is actually less efficient than doing melee and having an extra inventory slot used up during crafting. And here's me at the Catawba Ponds hitting a white stack of bone fragments, 100,000 of them, which I'm definitely going to use up someday. So that pretty much brings us to present day. I haven't recorded any clips since then, even though it's been a few months, because I've not really reached any hugely notable milestones, but I'm currently at 94 crafting, so I've gained a few levels since the last clip. And I have not been training crafting since Brighter Shores released because I've been playing that and AFKing more on this account. And then Leagues came out not long after that, and Leagues removed over half of the free-to-play worlds, so now crafting is probably just horrible. So I don't really feel like it's worth it to bother doing that right now. So maybe I'll return to crafting after Leagues. We'll have to see. Hopefully they do return the free-to-play worlds back because it's not like all the worlds are full. There's, capacity on the servers for more players, but all of the useful spots are full. So I actually probably get better XP rates at Catawba Ponds now than I do at Flesh Crawlers most of the time because there's so many people at Crawlers in every single world. It's insane. So yeah, I think for now I'm still just going to be camping Catawba Ponds most of the time and then Flesh Crawlers when I'm not at the PC because those make more sense. So I train a mixture of attack and strength, and I'm getting kind of close to some milestones here. So 94 mil attack and 146 mil strength. So I'll be 150 mil strength, 100 mil attack pretty soon. And also I'm probably less than a week away from 100 mil hit points now, which is going to be pretty cool. That will mark halfway done with hit points, which isn't really halfway done with combat because there are 4 skills that I'm definitely going to be training with hit points and maybe some magic too, who knows. But it's still kind of cool. Hit points is probably around like 14k an hour, 13k an hour, how I've trained it most of the way so far. So that's a lot of hours that I've put into this so far. But it's pretty easy to do with it being this AFK. And the stacks are starting to look pretty nice from Catawba Ponds. Put up another almost 20k bone fragments, and my law rune stack is growing, and a few more weeks and I'll probably be at a white stack of rune essence also. And as for woodcutting and fire making, I didn't end up doing too much more of that. Got it to 152 mil fire making and 142 mil woodcutting. And I think I'm probably not going to touch those again until I do rune crafting again, because I do definitely have plans to do rune crafting again now that I have this big stack of rune essence. And I think that saving woodcutting and fire making to be my AFK skill during rune crafting makes the most sense, because I think wearing armor while rune crafting would be pretty troll and I'd get really bad rates. So it makes more sense to just carry an axe, and then I don't need to lose any inventory slots in RC since you need the axe for canoes anyways. And that's what I did for quite a bit of my woodcutting and fire making in the past, was skill hopping it with rune crafting. So I'll probably do that to finish off the rest of fire making sometime. Maybe I'll do it next year, but we'll have to see. It kind of depends because I'm waiting on the run energy update, because that's going to buff rune crafting rates a decent amount, and it seems kind of pointless to do RC before then. RZ would be a nice skill to do right now since it's not crashable, and it wouldn't be a problem with the lack of worlds, but Catawba Ponds are also fine, and I kind of want to stack enough rune essence to finish 99 with essence. That would be really nice. That'd be about 300 KS or maybe less after the run energy update. We'll have to see. All right, so let's take a look at the temple gains for this year. I'm on a 2.3k EHP year, about 244 mil XP gained, so pretty decent. Of course, if I was playing more actively, then the number would be higher. I think like 3k years would be the ideal, but 2.3k on so much AFK is still pretty good, so I'm pretty content with it. Last year in this video, I talked about how wrist issues are really preventing me from playing the game more efficiently or doing much higher APM scaling, which is still true. I mean, it has gotten better, and I've been able to do some somewhat more active skilling like crafting, but still spent a lot of time AFKing this year because the recovery for this is just really slow moving. But I can certainly do things like crafting in RC, so I hope to be doing more of that next year. So 81 mil attack and 78 mil strength, so almost the same amount of attack and strength XP gained in the year. 56 mil hit points total, so I completed about a quarter of melee this year, which is nice, and I'm getting close to halfway done with melee actually. I think I have like maybe 270 mil melee XP total, something like that, so I'm getting there. All of the attack XP was at flesh crawlers, and a fair amount of the strength was also, but not all. I think I've done about 20 mil XP at Catapopons and about 5 mil XP at ogresses this year, and then the rest was also crawlers. The range XP I think was all crawlers. I did AFK range crawlers when I was doing crafting for a little while, and then I realized that doing range with bronze arrows is actually worse than having a rune scimitar on me and losing a bit of crafting XP from the lost inventory slot, because ADI arrow range is just a lot better. And I think I'd like to save range for doing ogresses down the line probably anyways, so I went back to doing attack after a bit. The prayer XP is from the ogresses I killed, so I gained 1 prayer level, which is kind of nice. Bit of magic XP, probably mostly from combat, also 1 magic level. Maybe I did a little bit of super heats here and there, I don't really remember, and then some teleports also. The cooking XP is all from cooking the tuna spawn that spawns at the ogresses while I was AFKing there, so you get a decent amount of cooking XP over time if you were to train there long term. I think you would probably get a good maybe like 20 mil cooking XP off of doing a 200 mil there, so that's actually pretty substantial. A little bit of woodcutting and fire making, but as I said, not too much because I'm planning to save the rest of that for when I train rune crafting. And I did a decent amount of crafting XP, and most of that was in the latter half of the year. Probably like 600 or 800k of this XP was from gem drops from all of the combat, but the rest of it was actually training the skill with tiaras. And the smithing XP was all bonus XP from crafting, so about 260 EHP of crafting and probably like 300 hours spent-ish, because I don't get quite one-to-one with how I was doing it. And then all the mining XP is just for free from training crafting, and pretty much all this RC XP is from lamps, though I did, I think, maybe like 15k XP of Noted S when I was testing that out. So the lamp XP does really add up, and if I were to have all the random event outfits and a Jagex account, so I would get the count check lamps, then this would probably be double or maybe even more, because so many random events can give lamps now. But even so, they add more throughout this year, so I get a lot more XP from lamps than I used to. So in terms of the monster KCs, it was approximately 15,000 ogresses that I killed. I've done a bit over 100k Catapopons now, and the rest was all crawlers, which was about 1.45 million crawlers, so killed quite a few of those this year. And looking at the stats, I'm at 910 mil total XP, so my long-term goal of reaching 1 billion XP is certainly going to happen in 2025, unless I totally stop playing or something, because I think I will pretty comfortably gain over 200 mil XP in the next year. So that's going to be really nice, and I'm excited to achieve that. It'll probably take like 5 or 6 months, but we'll see. And as far as rankings, I'm now rank 4 free-to-play Iron Man. I was rank 5 last year, so I gained 1 rank this year. I think it was a few months ago I passed Anne Shirley, who was flatlined for most of the year, so it was a non-moving target. And now Anne Shirley has actually started playing again, so I've got a few hundred hours on them, but we'll see. They've mostly just been AFKing fleshies also, so our weeks end up being pretty similar. But if that person started playing a lot more, it'd be possible for them to pass me again, but we'll see. But also, Colorado 1, who has been really consistent for quite a long time, has stopped playing. They haven't gained XP in, I think, like a few months now. Yeah, last played towards the beginning of November. So that is also when Brighter Shores was released. So there's a chance that maybe they've quit the game for that, but who knows? It could just be coincidence. Hopefully Colorado 1 comes back because he's a really good player and I've always looked up to him. But if not, I guess I will pass him this year. So we'll see what happens there. And 5ent I'll probably never pass 5ent. That guy is insane and is just going to probably keep playing forever. And same is true with mid-level Skilla. Mid-level Skilla doesn't gain that much EHP anymore, but still it will take so long to bridge a 6k EHP gap. So if I had to guess, a year from now, my rank will probably be the same or maybe one higher. Maybe. We'll see. I also wanted to mention the changes to free-to-play Ironman EHP that happened this year. Relatively minor stuff, but there was one set of EHP rate changes. There was a bit of a rebalance to the combat rates. It's all pretty minor, but there was some errors there. So those were fixed up, and that just moved people's rates around pretty minorly. None of the methods actually changed. We did reduce the Boneyard rate from 14k to 13.4k because the old rate assumed that you don't have a Jagex account, which allows you to have a much higher hop limit. And if you do have a Jagex account, then your rates long term will be worse. We changed the magic from Crumble Ankus to Firebolt Moss Giants because of the combat rework. So now Firebolt Moss Giants is just better. But either way, magic is 100% 0 times, so doesn't really matter that much. Woodcutting rates were adjusted slightly. I think this was just to put them in line with the main rates, which were adjusted a little bit also. I guess they decided 110 was too high. It says 2-tick oaks here, but you get a lot of your XP from willow trees if you train efficiently, so you just do the last bit of XP at 2-tick oaks. Crafting was reduced from 20k to 19.5k because 20k just seemed a bit too high with how often you get crashed at Varric Southwest, and nobody was really getting that rate consistently. And last but not least, smithing was actually increased from 24 to 25k because there was an update to the telegrab spell that makes it so there isn't as much of a delay upon casting it, and also you can world hop, I think, a bit faster after casting it. So because telegrabbing is now a bit faster, that makes smithing a bit faster since part of the smithing time is telegrabbing. So overall, I would say it's a pretty good year because there were basically two free-to-play updates, which was the combat rework and the telegrab update, which are both quite minor. So I'm always happy if things don't change in free-to-play. That's kind of the ideal for me. So yeah, that was 2024. Pretty good year overall. As far as IRL stuff, I did return to full-time work, which is great. And I've started going to the gym again, pretty much only doing leg workouts, but maybe in 2025 I'll be able to start doing some upper body training again. We'll see. I'm not quite there yet because even doing squats still causes a bit of pain on my wrists, and I notice it the next couple of days. So compared to a year ago, my IRL situation has definitely improved, and in the last video, if you watched that, you could tell I was pretty depressed, and life is definitely not as bad as it was then because I'm a lot more able to do the things that I like to do. But I'm still not 100% there. So my hope for 2025 is first and foremost that my wrist injuries will improve so that I'm able to get stronger again and also maybe make some better progress in RS. But as far as in-game goals for 2025, it's kind of hard to say because it kind of depends on a number of different things. Depends on updates to the game. So I will probably train a lot of RC if/when the run energy update comes out. If it doesn't come out, then I don't really know. If they confirm that it won't be coming out, then maybe I'll just train RC. But if they just keep waffling on it, then I'll probably just keep waiting because that's going to be a pretty big RC update. If they bring back the worlds after leagues end, then I probably will do more crafting because it would be kind of nice to get that to 99, and it's a pretty good skill for me to train right now with the wrist situation. And it also kind of depends on Brighter Shores, because I'm kind of maining Brighter Shores now because I'm enjoying the game and excited to see what comes of it. So if the game gets a lot of good updates and I'm really excited about it in 2025, then that might become my primary game. If it kind of flops and the updates aren't very good or whatever else, and I lose interest, then I'll maybe be focused more on the free-to-play UIM. Either way, I'll certainly be playing the free-to-play UIM all the time. It just kind of just depends how actively I'll be playing it, whether I'll be doing Katawa Pawns and Fleshies, or whether I'll be doing crafting, RC, or maybe even like smithing or killing hill giants or something like that. So I don't really have like concrete RS goals. Really, the goal with this account is just log in every day and gain XP and try to gain as much EHP as I can throughout the year. I don't really have particular goals for specific skills. You could say 1 bill total XP is a goal, but that's almost definitely going to happen throughout some time in the year. So yeah, I'm not really like pushing myself to reach any specific milestones. Maybe I'll finally get a 200 mil this year, but that also kind of depends. You know, if I were to keep training strength and attack, it would maybe I would finish both of those by the end of the year, but there's a decent chance that I get strength up to 170 mil and then the RC update drops, and then I start training RC and do fire making woodcut and get those most of the way done, but not quite, and then I'll get like 200 mils in 2026. But who knows? We'll see. Maybe I'll finally get my first 200 mil. That would be nice to see. I've got quite a few that have been cooking up for a while. So I think that's pretty much all I've got. Thank you all for listening, and hope you enjoyed the free-to-play UIM rambling. It's been fun for me as well, and I will probably make at least 1 or 2 progress videos throughout the year. Kind of depends, as I said, on what I actually end up doing, but I'm going to try to, as a New Year's resolution, record more clips as I go. I've been doing that with Brighter Shores because it's kind of easy in that game since I'm changing what I'm doing so often, but in this game, I am still guilty of not recording as many clips as I should, even if it's only a clip like once a month. Sometimes I don't even bother. So I'm going to try to have a bit more footage to use for progress videos on this account going forward. So yeah, I hope you all had a happy holidays and enjoy your New Year's, and here's to 2025. Hope you have a good year, and hope the Rooney gains are good too. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all later.